So the name of this presentation is this. It's very boring, isn't it? So, you know, the sexier version of this is maybe your YouTube channel just sucks. And I know that's hard to hear. So whether you run channels for yourself, for your other people, whether you're the head of video department for a bigger company, unfortunately, sometimes your YouTube channel just sucks. And this is a really important point here that pretty much starts every presentation that I ever give. But I know it's a little bit early, but there's a lot of you here, so I want you to fill in the blank. So if I were to ask you this question, how would you finish the sentence? YouTube is old, awesome, both. I would say YouTube is hard. YouTube is really, really hard. I know it's easy for anyone to just upload a video to YouTube, but to do well on YouTube, YouTube is hard. If it wasn't hard, there wouldn't be conferences like this, and you wouldn't be sitting listening to old white dudes talk about YouTube all day. YouTube is really hard because you start with a really good intention, you put in a lot of work, you're generating videos, generating really good ideas, you might have a team that's working with you, but then you just fall into a trap. You have to keep feeding that engine, you have to keep uploading video, and you can't take a break, you can't stop uploading, no matter what the YouTube propaganda machine tells you. I'm glad they've left the room, by the way. No matter what YouTube tells you, you can't stop uploading videos, and you feel trapped. You feel trapped by the need to constantly keep feeding the engine, constantly keep uploading videos. And of course, we're at the mercy of that evil YouTube algorithm. I'm sure you've all seen posts like this. It's not my fault, you know, YouTube algorithm is against me. I'm doing a perfect job. YouTube algorithm must be broken. I'm doing a perfect job. I'm making much better videos than my competition, but still YouTube is punishing me. We're trapped by the evil, nasty YouTube algorithm. But what if it's not YouTube's algorithm's fault? What if we are the problem? What if we are so close to our channel and we're so busy creating videos that we don't realize what the problem is, and we don't realize that we might be our own captor? We might be the problem. So in this talk, I'm going to tell you about the channels that I've run in the past, and I've run some really big channels. My name's Tom Martin, and I've run channels for some of the world's biggest media companies. I've generated billions of views for them, tens of millions of subscribers, and tens of millions in revenues and equivalent marketing value. But I'm not immune to this same problem. I've been running channels that suck in the past, and I'm proud of it. But it doesn't have to be that way. And I'm going to share a story with you today. So back in 2017, I was hired by a company called Endemol to take over their YouTube network. And I'd just come from a very successful 5 years at the BBC in London, and I thought I was untouchable. I thought I was God's gift to YouTube. Some people say that. I still think that. It's not true. Don't listen to them. Thank you. And we got an email one day from YouTube, and they said, we'd like to invite you to an audience development session. And for those of you that don't know, audience development is kind of like optimization, best practice, stuff like that. And they said to me, we'd like to invite your team, you and your team, up to YouTube for an audience development session. And I just thought, you're going to teach me audience development? Again, very big-headed at the time. And not only was it an audience development session, but it wasn't even with an audience development specialist. It was with our YouTube account manager. Anyone got a YouTube account manager in the room? No, okay. Well, for those of you that don't know, YouTube account managers are very nice, but not particularly knowledgeable, I must say. So I take all of my team to the YouTube offices in London. and I'm prepared for them to maybe make me a cake, give me a glass of champagne, maybe another kind of play button, pat me on the back. All of my juniors there, my very new boss there, I'm wondering what can they teach me about YouTube? And then this happened. I had my backside handed to me on a plate in front of all of my juniors, in front of my boss. It wasn't a real cake, they really just embarrassed me. But this is what they actually gave me. They did an audit of the channels that I was running. These are not the actual channels because, you know, data protection, I can't share confidential information. But they pointed out everything that we were doing wrong with our channels. Really simple stuff that I knew, stuff that I teach people every day. But because I'm so busy in my everyday duties, I didn't have time to step back and look at what we were doing strategically. And this is really, really common because everyone here, no doubt, is so busy making video, going to meetings, their everyday duties, that they forget what is right in front of them, the really obvious stuff. And the only way to assess what you're doing wrong so you can improve is to step back and audit your channel. And so today I'm going to share with you a 4-step audit so you can objectively go through your channels, whether it's the channels that you're running for yourself, for your clients, maybe even if you have an agency running channels for you. This is to kind of keep them honest and make sure they're doing a good job. So 4 points. First of all is branding. What does the channel look like and how does it appear to the world? Channel strategy. What are we uploading it? When are we uploading it? And how do we upload it to get more views? SEO, search engine optimization. I put a question mark next to these ones because SEO has become a little bit of a dirty word. So I want to talk about whether it's still relevant or not in this day and age. And then fourthly, content. Many people say content is king. You're going to hear my opinion on that later on down the line. So I pride myself on giving very actionable advice. So in this talk, we're going to actually use a real life case study to audit almost live. We're going to use a willing volunteer. This is Mike. Mike is the Chevy dude. So I audited this channel about a year ago for VidCon in London. And this is really interesting because obviously Mike was in the room when I did this, so he was a participant in the audience when I first did this presentation. And he's since gone on to grow the channel to about 600,000 subscribers. Up here, at the time, he was on 185,000. So all of the screenshots that you're going to see today are out of date, but it would be really useful to now actually, if you want later, go and check out the channel and see what he's implemented and what he's not. So the first one we're going to look at is Mike's branding. I'm just going to step to the side so I can see this properly. So let's have a look at his artwork. So first of all, it's nice and bright, nice and clear, professionally made. Mike is front and center, which is really important because people generally connect with people, not with brands. So having a human in this artwork is really important. What's not so great is there's no car in there. So just to make it this clear, this is a car channel. Mike is the US's most successful Chevrolet salesman, and he talks about Chevrolet cars. There's no car in here. You need to make it really obvious by putting in your unique selling proposition into this artwork. Sorry, I need to go back. You'll see there's quite a bit of text here. Obviously you're seeing this on a giant monitor, so you can probably read this text. But even this would be a struggle to read at small sizes. This text here around his name is really hard to use. We've got all of these logos here of cars that he doesn't sell, which makes absolutely no sense. And he's got this text here, which makes absolutely no sense. You have to make this super, super clear as to the proposition of what your channel is for. Next is the channel name. This sounds really, really obvious. This is actually a good channel name for a few reasons. First of all, Mike markets himself as the Chevy dude. Not the Chevy wizard, not the Chevy professor, not the Chevy guide. He is a dude, and that's very much how he comes across in his videos. So he's showing here straight away that this channel is going to be full of personality. Also, really, really obvious, but he's got the word Chevy in there. And that is the #1 keyword that Mike cares about. When someone searches for the word Chevy, he wants his channel to show up, so that's really important. Lastly is his avatar. Again, you can see this at a giant size, so that's quite easy to read. But if you imagine this on a mobile phone, which is going to probably be 60 to 70% of Mike's viewers, that's going to be absolutely illegible. So I would suggest removing that and changing it to something else. Here are the avatars of some of Mike's competition. Ones that I really like. These branded ones for Car Throttle and Drive Tribe, even though they're just logos, they're very high contrast, really easy to see at small sizes. This is a really great one here, Chris Harris on cars. I don't know if you can see it there, but he's got the Ferrari logo here. It's really obvious he's in a car, and also he's got that really obvious, what I like to call YouTube face, which really helps to get a lot of clicks. My favourite one here though is actually this one, Supercars Top Speed, and that's just because it's got a beautiful car in it. Car porn, as I like to call it. So car porn works really well. I used to run the Top Gear channel for a number of years, so I know all too well how well supercars do. So I definitely suggest that Mike change this avatar. If we look at Mike and how he's laid out his channel, he has a hero video here playing, but not a specific trailer as to what the channel is about, and that is a big mistake. So the temptation is just to put your latest or your favourite video here, but instead you should have a dedicated trailer, and it should end with a really strong call to action to subscribe, because that will only be shown to people who are not subscribed. You can see here as well that he's only used up 2 of his potential 10 sections of his channel, and again, that's a big mistake. This is your real estate where you can sell your entire channel. So this should be filled up. I think there are now 10 or 11 sections that you can use, and that should be filled up with the latest and the greatest of your videos. Now we're going to talk about something really important that if you're running a channel for a brand, you may not know about or you may not think about, and that is personality and tone of voice. So this channel, it's really easy to talk about tone of voice because Mike is the channel. Mike's voice is the tone of voice. But if you are Procter & Gamble, Pepsi, Ford, Chevy, you are not a person, you don't have a tone of voice, but you have to think about what is our tone of voice? What kind of language do we use? How do we represent ourselves? How do we communicate to our audience? So you never want to come across too clinically, you never want to come across too formally, and you certainly don't want to talk in the third person. So you never want to say, Pepsi is here on YouTube to talk to you about this. It needs to be us or we. So you want to affect this tone of voice anywhere where there is a chance to put custom text or copy. So the description of your channel trailer is really important because again, people are going to be looking through this if they're not already subscribed. Descriptions of playlists that appear on your channel, again, think about how the tone of voice is there. And the about section. This is a really important place to get your copy exactly right. And I've got some serious problems with Mike's copy here. This reads, if you want to quickly scan through it, this reads a bit like a LinkedIn recommendation. He is an award-winning salesperson at the top of his game. That is complete and utter rubbish. So let's read through it a little bit. He is an award-winning salesperson at the top of his game, while his me, I, he. One, he's talking in the third person, which is a big no-no. But 2, he's talking all about himself. This whole description is about Mike. Now that is the big problem that I see all the time. And this is a great yardstick to judge how good your about section is. So instead of using his, it should always be you. Because when people are reading this, they're thinking, what is in this for me? So it should be something like, if you are interested in Chevys, I'm going to teach you about this. You will learn X, Y, Z. You will benefit X, Y, Z if you subscribe. It should always be about the benefits to the benefits to the potential subscriber. So if you're checking your about copy now, or at some point today or later, make sure that this is not we, I, and it's all you. What will you benefit by hitting that subscribe button? Number 2, channel strategy. So what are we uploading and how we upload it. This is Mike's video feed, and you can see pretty obviously that Mike is running a car channel. So pretty good, pretty consistent, but not perfect. So a little while ago he uploaded this video talking about how much money he made on YouTube. Not really relevant to that audience. And a little while after that he uploaded this video which talks about his dog almost dying. Again, not particularly relevant. And this is really important because if you put yourself in the place of a subscriber to Mike's channel, so they're watching Chevy videos every week, they hit the subscribe button wanting more Chevy videos. They sit down on a Tuesday morning to drink their coffee and they get a notification and it says, Mike's just uploaded a video about the best luau in Hawaii. It's not relevant. I don't care about Mike's luau in Hawaii, no disrespect to Mike. This is not what you should be doing. You need to stick to one specific topic and be the subject matter expert in that topic. And YouTube loves subject matter experts because when YouTube sends viewers to subject matter experts, they watch multiple videos. And why do YouTube love this? Because they can serve more ads and they can collect more data, which ultimately is YouTube's #1 aim. So if you can help YouTube to achieve that, they will send you more traffic, your channel will grow. And the reason, the kind of benefit of being a subject matter expert is that from a search point of view, YouTube will know to send people to you. So it's why if you search for anything related to tech, the results are always going to be dominated by the likes of Marcus Brownlee and Unbox Therapy because they've been uploading tech videos every single week for the last 10 years without stop. And that is a subject matter expert. Another really underutilized part of channel strategy is playlists. Playlists are great because they allow you to grow your footprint on the platform without uploading any more videos. And they also are really good for session time. So if someone watches one video, they're likely to go and watch 4, 5, 6 videos. But not many people make playlists regularly or keep them updated. Also, they're very under-optimized. So I'm going to show you quickly how you can optimize a playlist. First of all is the title of the playlist. It should be really keyword rich, and we'll talk a little bit more about keywords in a sec. They should be really stacked full of keywords, but of course still read well for humans. Secondly, every single description, every playlist should have a description. Again, that should be really keyword rich, but should also read well for humans to get them to click. Thirdly is the order of the playlist. So you want to stack your playlist, unless it needs to be in a certain chronological order. You want to stack it with the very best videos at the top, and when I say the best, I mean the videos with the best audience retention. Because the job of the first video in a playlist is to get someone to watch the second video, the job of the second video is to get someone to watch the third, and so on and so forth. And finally is the thumbnail of the playlist. Some people don't even know this, but the first video in the playlist, the default will become the thumbnail for the whole playlist. But by clicking some buttons that would appear generally over this side, you can actually change the default thumbnail by choosing a thumbnail of any video in a playlist, and that's really important. So now I want to talk about SEO, search engine optimization. This is when we're talking about optimizing for search, optimizing for the algorithm. And the reason that I put question marks next to this is that SEO, as I said earlier, has become a bit of a dirty word. People are kind of a bit wary about it. Do tags still work? You've got a lot of kind of YouTube gurus trying to teach you the latest algorithm hack, the latest SEO techniques that are going to get you to rank fast in 2021. So I'm here to kind of clear this up kind of once and for all. This is the truth. YouTube search engine optimization is dead. You can quote me on this. You can tweet, include me at channel_fuel. YouTube in 2021 and in 2022 is dead. YouTube SEO is dead important. It's really, really important, and it's just as important as it was when I started back in 2012, but it's different. Back in 2012, you could just spam the tag box full of keywords and you would just rank for that video. YouTube is much more nuanced now, and when we're talking about SEO, we're not just talking about trying to rank our videos for search. In fact, once a channel is kind of a bit more mature, I couldn't really care less about search. Search is only ever going to really make up about 10 to 15% of traffic on a good channel. What we're doing is we're going to create a metadata system so that our videos become related to each other, and when someone watches one of our videos, we dominate the suggested sidebar, because that is where a real successful channel is made. When you dominate that suggested sidebar, someone watches one video, they go on to watch another and another and another. Before I tell you how that works, I just want to give you an example of how powerful it can be. So this is the Mr. Bean channel. I know that it was very popular in the Middle East as well. So I took over the strategy for this channel back in 2017. And it was doing pretty well by anyone's standards. It was doing about 27, 25 million views per month when I started. And by the time I left, it was doing about 162 million views a year. It was doing about 75,000 subscribers a month. And at its peak was doing it, we got it to go to around 800,000 subscribers. And this wasn't, there was no drastic change in what we were doing on this channel. We did clean up the strategy a little bit, but most of these views came from videos that were already on the platform and doing well. What we did, we audited the channel, we did our keyword research, and then we went back and manually fixed up 1,000 videos by hand. Me and a junior. I did about 3, he did about 997, but he was following the strategy that I built. That's how powerful optimization can be. That's how powerful YouTube SEO can be. So, the technique that we use to clean up this channel, and the techniques that we use to run our own channels now, and the techniques that we use to run any of our client channels, is to start off with keyword research. And from that keyword research, we create a playbook which allows us to implement a consistent metadata system. When I talk about metadata, I'm talking about titles, tags, and description. Keyword research. Anyone know what keyword research is? I've got one person, so you get an extra star. Everyone else, this is going to be a really, really, really condensed version. I usually give an hour-long talk just on keyword research. But essentially, we use a third-party tool called Vidiq, and what this allows us to do is to put in an input keyword, and it will spit out the data related to this keyword. I've got no idea why anyone would search for hair loss, but anyway. So you put in an input keyword, and then it spits out all of this lovely data. Not just for the keyword that you put in, but for everything that is related to that keyword. So it will give you other inspirational keywords around that topic. So what does this information actually show you? So it shows you the volume of search in English monthly globally. They are working on multi-language searches, so watch that space. Competition score, how competitive is this keyword? From 0 to 100, 0 being really easy, 100 being far too competitive, just give up. And then overall score is a really neat calculation between the search volume and how competitive something is. So the higher this overall score, the better the opportunity, from 0 to 100. So once we've harvested a load of these keywords related to our niche or our market or our subject, what do we do? I'm going to show you an exact example. So this is a channel that I ran. It's a kids TV show, a bit like Goosebumps, if you know that. And what's really interesting about this case study is that when I left the company, the channel was on about 60,000 subscribers, and that was 3 years ago. They've not uploaded a single video since. I checked the channel last week, and they're actually on over 600,000 subscribers. despite not uploading a video for 3 years. I think that's a lot to do with the metadata system that we implemented. So we did the keyword research for this channel. A lot of it was very obvious, so it was the name of the show, but it was also things like kids TV shows, horror TV show, the name of the author, stuff like that. So we get all of the lovely keywords that we've harvested for this channel, and then we start to implement it on our videos. So first of all, this system is based on a 3-tiered system. The first is the channel level, and that means we have some stuff that goes in our titles, tags, and descriptions for every single video on the channel. If these keywords are not relevant to every video that you will upload, don't include them in this section. So here it's really obvious. We've got the name of the show, we've got some really broad keywords that relate to the show, and then in the description we've got just a kind of mini version of our about section that includes a lot of rich keywords. The next level is the category level. So if you think about your channel in different categories or buckets, so let's say for example a tech channel, you might have unboxing category, you might have news category, and you might have a reviews category. So for this, it was either going to be whether it's a full episode, whether it's a clip, or whether it's a compilation. So in the title of the video, we have some category information, and the full episode is the keyword. We have some category information in the tags, and also what's not included is you might just have a single line in the description that says something like, to watch more full episodes of The Haunting Hour, click here for our playlist. And then everything else that you see is unique to this video, and that's really important because even though we want big chunks of our metadata to be similar across our catalog, we never want anything to be 100% identical, because YouTube will just see this as spam and they won't be able to see the difference between your different videos. So again, here's another example. We've got the channel level stuff, which is identical. We've got the category level stuff, and then you notice that the titles and then the rest of the information is unique to this video. And this is just 2 videos, but if you imagine this across a catalogue of say 500 videos, what we're doing to YouTube is we're saying, if the viewer is enjoying this video, if this viewer is getting value from this video, we've got 500 videos just like it. And we've got 100 videos in exactly the same category as this video that are super related. And that's when you start to dominate that suggested sidebar. What we're doing here, and as I said, search is great, especially when you're starting out, but ultimately, what you're really interested in is dominating that suggested sidebar. And what we're doing here with this system is we are engineering the relationships between our own videos. So forget trying to get into the suggested videos of others, that will come. We're trying to engineer the relationships between our own videos so we take up that #1 spot. Now if we look at Mike's channel, Mike's doing a pretty good job. He's doing okay, but he's not doing great. For example, he's got the tag in this video, Louisville, Kentucky, so that's where he's based. But it's a bit broad. It's a bit too broad. And I always use the golden rule. If I searched for this tag, if I searched for this keyword, and I got this video in the search results, would I be happy if I clicked on it? And if the answer is no, don't include the keyword. Because if Mike ends up ranking for that, and people click, but they then click off very soon after, that's going to affect his average view duration, and that's going to hurt his channel more than anything. Here, he's using the word vlog, which is relevant to his video, but it's way too competitive. You should probably get a little bit more niche and do something like car vlog, automotive vlog, something like that. And what is the effect of this on Mike's channel? So in the first video that I looked at, he didn't control the all-important first spot, but he did have a few in the preceding videos. In the second one, he did take up the top spot, which is great, and then a few below. But in the third one, he didn't take up the top spot or any of the preceding 8 videos. And that's really going to have a negative impact on Mike's channel. On the opposite side of the spectrum is the Haunting Hours, the channel that we just looked at. They average about 12 to 13 out of those 20 suggested sidebar spots. And in this example, which was a random example, they took up 19 out of those 20 suggested sidebar spots. And you can just imagine what that is doing to help grow that channel. Even though they've not uploaded for 3 years, people watching more and more suggested videos, becoming subscribers, growing their subscriber count, view count, revenues. And make no mistake about it, if you are not taking up the top spot on your channel or the channels that you're running for other people, or if your team are running your channel and they're not regularly hitting that top spot, you are losing out on money. This is not YouTube's algorithm is broken. This is not a missed opportunity. This is your spot, which is yours for the taking, but you have to tell YouTube in your consistent metadata system that you deserve that top spot. So you really need to work hard on that. How we use the time? Okay, we're fine. So content. Content is king is a very, very famous saying. I'm not saying it's complete rubbish, but I'm not saying that I also entirely agree on it. Essentially what I believe is that content is really, really important. Optimization is really, really important, but they've got a kind of symbiotic relationship, because you might have the world's best content, but what's the point in having that if nobody can ever find it, which is why SEO is important. But you can optimize something until the cows come home, but if people don't watch it regularly, if you don't have a good average view percentage on it, you won't get people coming back to you. YouTube will not continue to drive you traffic. So you have to make sure you've got great content. And Mike does, thankfully, have great content. Mike's great. Don't worry, he's not meant to be in video. Mike's great. He's a natural on camera, really charismatic. He speaks with a passion. He speaks really well. He's very entertaining, but also he knows what he's talking about. He's really, really, really smart, and he knows his subject better than anyone. And people love Mike. We know that because since this video, he's gone on to now get over 600,000 subscribers too. So what does that look like in terms of his audience retention stats? We can see that his average view duration is 7 minutes and 18, and his average view percentage is 46%. Both pretty good numbers in terms of a general benchmark. Most channels that I audit and work with would have an average view duration of about 3 minutes and something, and I would tell them, you really need to get this up to a minimum of 6. So Mike's doing okay. Average percentage viewed, Mike's doing about 46%, which is probably about the platform average. If you're getting above 50%, you're doing really well, or if your team is doing above 50%, they're doing really well. If you're doing somewhere between 40 and 50%, you're doing okay, probably a few tweaks. If you're doing somewhere between 30 and 40%, you probably need to have a look at your content strategy. And if you're doing below 30%, unless you've got really long videos, you've got a really bad content problem that you need to fix. So these are the 2 key metrics that you need to look at. Also, of all the metrics that you track, of all the metrics that you can affect, if you grow these 2 numbers, if you can grow these 2 numbers more than anything else, your channel will grow. These are the 2 most important numbers that you want to try and improve over time. But how can Mike make these numbers even better? Let's watch some of Mike's content and give me a chance to have a drink.
Hey everyone, I'm going to start this vlog and I'm going to say a special thank you to everyone who's a part of my channel. If you have won something, and especially to all those who have bought, your orders are shipped out. Down in the description below is my Chevy Dude store, so feel free to support my channel with a purchase. Last month in June, 12 uploads, 1.7 million minutes watched, 2,000 new subscribers, 2,301 comments, 8,553 likes, 732 shares of it. So this is a monthly report that I get from YouTube. Can we top all those numbers for June? I need your help. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit the bell notification, thumbs up, and in this video, I'm gonna give you a big task to do because I'll share more stuff like this if we can hit this goal. On with the vlog.
So in Mike's introduction for his video. And let's note as well here that when he actually gets to the point of his video, we're 2 minutes and 14 seconds into the video. So you have missed or witnessed one thank you to his subscribers, a competition update, a shipping update, a plug for his store, 2 notification bell calls to action, 2 subscribe call to actions, 2 thumbs up, a very, very long graphical intro, 12 uploads, 1.6 million minutes watched, 2,000 subscribers, 2,000 comments, 8,000 likes, 732 shares, which all amounts to 0 shits given. I do not care about any of this stuff. I do not care about any of this stuff. When I clicked on this video to watch it as a potential viewer, I wanted to learn how to spot a dealership scam when searching for a new truck. I did not sign up to learn about his competition, about his store, or to know how many minutes he's got watched. And this is a really important thing, is that you need to get to the heart of your video as soon as possible. Because guess what? People are going to abandon that video in their droves. And remember, audience retention is the most important metric that you need to improve. So you need to strip out all of that stuff and get to the meat and the potatoes. Let's look at how Mike ends his videos.
2LT standard equipment. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. If this is the first time that you're viewing my channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button, turn your bell notifications on, and leave a thumbs up. Have a great day, and drive safely.
So not too bad, nice and succinct, quite quick. But what really troubles me is that these 2 videos here, and you can tell that by the fact that they're covering up something that's in the video, were a complete afterthought. And this is probably the most common mistake that I see from creators, is that pointing someone to a new video is an afterthought. Pointing someone to another video in your catalogue should be the #1 call to action at the end of every one of your videos. So subscribe, great, like, yeah, comment, whatever. Get people to watch more videos, because remember, what does YouTube want? They want people to watch more videos so they can serve more ads, collect more data. So what you need to do in an ideal world is think about what was this video about, and what is the other video, what is the next video in my catalogue that makes most sense for the person to watch next. And in an ideal world, you have a human in vision pointing to an empty space and saying, watch this next, because that's going to get the best click-through rate. If you don't have that, maybe have a graphical call to action with an arrow or a voiceover, depending if you have talent in the video. But yeah, don't let that slip. I've got no idea what this slide is for. Oh, thumbnails, of course, yeah. So yeah, a really important part of content is thumbnails. We know how important click-through rates are. We can see here that Mike's doing a decent job. We can see there's cars all over the place. He's generally using a consistent style, the same fonts, the same colours. But I just want to quickly look in a little bit more detail at some of his thumbnails. Some that I like, some that I don't like so much. So this one is really good. Why I really love it is the use of these red arrows. You'll see that a lot on very popular videos. Also, little red circles in thumbnails do really well. Really help to draw people's attention to the thumbnail. Great use of that here. This one, like I mentioned earlier, car porn works really well. If you're into the car market, you want to see beautiful cars. If you're in the food market, you want to see food porn, tech porn, gadget porn. All the porns work, mostly. And then this one, the photoshopping on this is a little bit not great, but you can see what he's trying to do, and really effective, because you just need to know what is under that, what's under that blanket. Really, really interesting. Maybe not the best execution of the idea, but a really great format that I've seen work well. This one I absolutely hate, because it's using that really awful stock image, man, and a puppy dies every time someone uses that on the thumbnail, so don't use that. This one, even on this giant screen, can anyone read this writing? No, I can't, I'm 2 feet away. So you need to think about mobile. Is all text going to be legible on mobile? and that's in terms of the size of the font, but also the contrast of the font from the background. And then this one looks nice, looks great. But what you can't see from this example is this is a thumbnail that Mike reuses again and again and again. And if all of your thumbnails are too similar, your viewers will just become blind to them and they won't click. So that's Mike's channel audited in a nutshell. Let's kind of recap how he did. So I scored him at this point 2 out of 5. Remember, you can go to Mike's channel now and see how he's changed it. Key recommendations were more calls to action to watch more video, and that should be the case for everyone here if they're not doing that already. Optimize for watch time. Remember, average view percentage and average view duration are the 2 most important metrics. If you grow those 2 metrics, your channel will grow. Consistent metadata system. Engineering relationships between our videos based on keyword research so that we dominate the suggested sidebar. Refresh that channel page. That is your shop window. Make sure it's absolutely optimized to turn browsers into subscribers. And playlists. Playlist, playlist, playlist. Make sure you're creating them more often. Make sure you're updating them more often, and make sure they're optimized because they're a great way to grow a channel. All that's left for me to say is thank you. That's me. If you want to know anything more about me, time for a couple of questions. I did see a hand up earlier.
Yeah, and the logo, it's different. So what's your thought from a branding perspective that when you have the and slide and then you have the logo, which is different, do you think there should be consistency? I know you were you were more focused on what the call to action should be, but if your and slide is your name or your signature, should that be in line with your brand name or logo?
Where possible, yes. The only problem is that obviously your brand will change over time, and so will your avatar, but that part of the video is burned in forever. So even if, at the time that Mike made that video, it might have matched, but as soon as you change your avatar, that goes out of sync. So that's something that you have to think about, but I wouldn't give it too much importance. If you're Pepsi, your logo is probably not going to change that much. But yeah, it's definitely worth thinking about because everything on a YouTube channel is representative of your brand. The presenter, the way they're dressed, the background, the quality of the editing, the quality of the music. So everything in that channel is saying something about your brand. So you need to think about all of that, not just the logo. Yeah, I'll say that.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Elias Saliba, owner of Vera Marketing and Communications. I actually have a question when you said people are interested in people, not in brands. And then you said subject matter is very important and it has to be consistent across all your content. But aren't people interested in people and sometimes they'd like to see something personal about the person who's actually posting content?
Yes, that's a great point, but there are ways to get that across without having a whole video. So let's say let's say I'm a cybersecurity expert, and I've got a channel about cybersecurity. Every week, I'm going to make a video about an aspect of cybersecurity. But you're right, my personality is important, but that could be a comment, just a throwaway comment about my kids. Or, you know, oh yeah, I have to be careful about my passwords because my kids always use my iPad to watch Coco Melon. Or I could have a picture of the football team that I support in the background. Come on, you Arsenal. Or there are other. So it's very tempting for brands to say we want to do behind the scenes. Behind the scenes is a great way to make more content, drive up our minutes. But very often on YouTube, behind the scenes is very, very poorly received. I understand why, because you want to show that you're real people. But there are other platforms that are better for doing that. Maybe YouTube Shorts, maybe YouTube Stories. Maybe don't do it at all on YouTube. Maybe save it for Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, something like that. But yeah, I think there are ways that you can get personality across without saying cybersecurity video, cybersecurity video. Here's where we went to Disneyland.
What about meet the team or meet the professionals behind the product rather than my kids and my family? It's just more personal but still on brand.
Yeah, I would say that there's a time and a place for that, but it really depends on the brand. You've got to really think about what is in it for the viewer. So if I'm watching a video about a cybersecurity brand, whatever that may be, McAfee, I don't know. You know, I want to know, how do I keep my computer safe? I want to know, how do I keep my cloud server safe? How do I keep my enterprise network safe? I don't really care that Andre in Latvia programmed it. Personally, that's me. I suppose if you wanted to find out, there's you know, you can put that on the website. I wouldn't necessarily put that into my kind of video feed.
Thank you.
It's a complicated one, I know, because you're working for a marketing agency, and that's probably what a lot of clients want and expect.
It's always a mix.
The problem is, or the thing that you really need to argue to them is that ultimately you want your channel to grow so your message and your product can get out there. If you do anything like that, it's going to hinder the growth of your channel. I understand sometimes there are execs and CEOs and CMOs that have just got an ego that you need to play to, in which case, just bite the bullet, as long as it's not once every week.
Thank you.
Time for one more question, if we've got one. We don't. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you.